I just got the question, is HWM extended? And I was thinking about recording a video about this. It's still calling smart exit. It's actually it's extension thing, right? So let's talk about it. Let's see if it's extended or not. So this indicator now has been simplified. Excuse me. Um, I wouldn't say simplified. I changed the approach. What I had done before in the previous version was to use back-tested information in all the stocks, meaning I was looking for extensions that led to drawdowns after it. And then I found a line, which was in the previous code, this orange line. Uh, but you know what? What was happening is that this orange line was always on top of the other two, and I really couldn't understand why. So I changed the approach. Now I have three lines. The red one is the ATR extension of the 50-day simple moving average. The orange is from the 21 EMA, and the yellow one is from the 8. And in the code, you can define what is it as an extension from those. So 3 times ATR from the 8 is considered extension, the 21 4, the 50 is 5, right? But none of them will play a role individually. So in this case, you could argue that uh, HowMet is extended because it's above the 50-day, not above the 50-day moving average, but above the extension line uh, from the 50, right? But look at the other two. There's two rooms. So you see the orange here in a price target. So it says that it's moderately extended. And you see the extension levels down there. From the 8 is only 2. It needs to get to 3. The 21 is 3. I think it needs to get to 4. And the 50 is extended, right? So should you trim now? I say no, right? So especially after this breakout here. Obviously, tomorrow we may see some consolidation, but it's in my new methodology, which I'm very confident is a very good implementation. It's not the time yet to extend it, to trim it, especially if you are a newcomer, right? If you just added on, like David did pretty well, should he trim it? I would say not yet. You should wait for it, right? Wait a little bit more. Uh, but I always say that whenever you trim, you put money in your pocket, especially if you're using margin. It can't be bad. It can't hurt you in terms of losing money. What it can hurt you is that if this thing keeps going up, your position is smaller. It's just that, right? But this provides you a target for the extension. The target right now would be 189.46. So what I would do would be to put, um, I would do something like this, 189.50 or 46, and put a message, target reached. This will change. So that's why you need to put an alert there, because tomorrow if the stock keeps going up, the target moves up, because the target is calculated based on those extension lines, and they are moving up, as you can see from here. So my answer is not yet. It's not yet extended. Let's take a look at the other features, right? So as you can see here, this indicator now gives you the entries from the DST very precisely. The purple indicator would trigger here, then the yellow and the cyan would trigger here, and you can see the clouds just like in DST. That's why DST makes little sense to me now to keep it as a separate indicator, because there's a lot of work also, like, to curate the list, and I needed to build a scanner for it, and it makes no sense. I think Supertrend is giving us the entries that we need, and those are confirmation. So let me put the Supertrend here just so you so you see that smart super trend. There's an entry here today, right? Yeah. Yeah. So you see the entry here. Uh, there's a buy here, and then it goes down. And then when you see this guy happening, this is confirmation. You are on the right trade. And no, and you were, right? Because you made 25%. I ended up selling it here when it broke the line. So I made a little bit over 25%. Um, and honestly, some people, I think Mark kept it and did well, but you never know. Is it going to break from here or not? Your defense line was here, so I decided, when it closed below the flip, I sold it, right? Do I regret it now? Of course not. There are hundreds of stocks that you can trade and make money. As I wrote, or as I recorded in one video, the thing that can hurt you most, and I speak from experience, is to get attached to names. Because those names will hurt you at some point. It's just like a girlfriend that at some point she's perfect, but at some point she will hurt you, right? Because of reasons unknown. And the more attached you are, the more you'll be hurt. So bear with me with that. All right, so let me hide this guy. Let me get back to the indicator. By the way, this indicator, sorry, this is only going to be available for premium subscribers. This is my pledge to make your money worth, and I think this is one good example. So as you can see, those plus signs, they happen, the smaller ones happen when the price bounces off the 13, and the bigger one when it bounces off the 21. It doesn't work perfectly here. You should be seeing both a small and a plus, because it's because it didn't touch the 21, but this is technically a bounce of the 21. So you see, instead of selling the position, maybe I should have trimmed it, wait a little bit more, and use these guys here. Although from this guy, let me go here, back here in that situation that I was, right? Look, I was here. He was extended. It was not severely extended, but he was extended. And then he got corrected. And then here is when I sold it, right? But if you look at this chart, it held the 13. So that was like, if I had more time, if I was doing this as my only thing I do in life professionally, I would probably have waited, especially because I have these defense lines here. And you see that is, look at how interesting is this. Now I have this new logic that picks the line for you based on ATR. So instead of if you were with the DST in this entry here, you would put your stop here, right? Here is telling you put your stop here, right? So look what happens next. Then you see that those lines move, right? It recovered, and you didn't get cut. Although the purple would be safe too in this case. I thought it would cut, but it didn't. And you see that the extensions now are solved, it consolidated, and boom. Amazing, right? And you see now that the stop loss from the smart super trend, it's very tight. It's the risk is really it's less than 6% now because it moved here. So if you enter this company on Monday, you would be with a risk of only 4.6%. But honestly, from what I can see here, using either this guy or this guy could be very interesting. And let's see, we can see that. The effect on the stats. If I override the stop loss with the purple, it hurts the win rate. Let me see, 128. Yeah, it hurts a lot. Let me see the wider. It hurts less. And let me see the wider plus, which is the yellow. Nope. So super trend still, this is more of a, if you want to keep the position for longer. But super trend is the way to go, and it's very hugged, right? You would have gotten out in here and back here. I ignored this because it was a red candle the other day. You see, this thing, like, it psychologically is hard, right? So you see the buy signal and say, I love the company, which is name attachment. And then I saw this and say, I made the right thing not to jump in it. And it's the following day, it's a shitty candle again. And you say, I knew it. And then you have this, right? So that's why you need to always look for confirmations. And this one will be tricky, but if you look at the smart squeeze momentum, it all fall. I think I'll see something. Yeah. So you see here, momentum is fading, fading, fading. Stock is consolidating, and then it starts to. This was like I missed it. I feel stupid. But you see, when it goes to squeeze, and it's red candle, but it's squeezed, the momentum is going up. This is an entry. You know, it's very hard that this is going to break down. Why? Because it's not released and momentum is positive. It requires like some weird news coming down the pipe. Otherwise, this is naturally going up because the trend is up. Even long term, the trend is freaking up. So I love to prove that I was ignorant because the tools are there. It's about time and effort to use them to your advantage. And here is the thing, now it's released and upwards, it's probably going to move further up. That's the likelihood, right? So if you see here, strong buy opportunity, historical edge confirmed. Again, it requires bad news to go down from here. Otherwise, you are now in an uptrend. It might even do something like this. It all depends on the exuberance. But that's it. So, uh, very long answer to the question, is it extended? I say yes, moderately. But that doesn't mean, we saw ASTS, we saw Rocket Lab, we saw Credo. Those things were moving against the wisdom that you should trim on extension. All right, that's it, guys.